In the year 2045, scientists at the Global Space Agency, GSA, picked up a faint signal from deep space. It was a pattern of beeps and tones that seemed to pulse through the empty void. Dr. Maya Chen, a brilliant astrophysicist with a passion for the universe, was one of the first to hear the signal. She worked late nights at the control center, her curiosity driving her to discover its origins. Dr. Chen gathered a team to analyze the mysterious signal. The team included David, a skilled engineer, Sarah, an expert in linguistics, and Raj, a data analyst who was great at number crunching. Together, they worked tirelessly to decipher the code hidden within the signal. Each day brought new excitement. The beeps seemed to form a rhythm, a language that was both strange and familiar. After weeks of trying, they finally pieced together the message. It appeared to be a greeting, but in an ancient format, almost like Morse code. The signal contained a series of numbers and sounds that made their hearts race. The last part of the signal repeated a phrase over and over: "We are here. We are waiting." As they decoded this message, a sense of wonder mixed with fear filled the room. The GSA announced the discovery to the world. News channels flashed reports of the mysterious signal, and people everywhere buzzed with excitement and fear. Some believed it was a sign of intelligent life, while others feared an invasion. Dr. Chen and her team were at the center of this whirlwind, praised by many but also questioned by skeptics. One day, while Maya and her team were monitoring the signal, everything changed. The signal abruptly stopped. The room fell silent, except for the sound of their breathing. "Where did it go?" David asked, his tone laced with concern. Raj scrolled through the data, searching for answers. "It could just be a technical issue," he suggested, though deep down, he feared it was something more. Minutes turned into hours, and the silence stretched on. The team worked around the clock, trying to re-establish contact. But soon, the silence spread beyond the control center. Power outages struck various parts of the world. Communication networks began to fail. Television screens went dark, leaving people in confusion and panic. Long-distance phone calls couldn't connect, and the internet flickered like an old lamp about to go out. Maya's heart sank. They were not just losing the signal. They were losing communication with the entire world. The GSA called for an emergency meeting. Scientists, politicians, and military leaders gathered, their faces grim. "We need to assess the situation," the director said. "What could cause this worldwide silence?" Dr. Chen raised her hand. "Could it be the signal? What if we triggered something by responding to it?" The room buzzed with murmurs. Some believed it was possible. Experts shared theories about aliens and technology beyond their understanding. A scientist named Dr. O'Connor suggested they send a reply to the last recorded message, hoping it would restore the connection. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. What if they were inviting danger? But she knew they had to do something. With heavy hearts, they crafted a short message, echoing the phrase, "We are here. We are ready." Together, they sent it back into the vastness of space. Hours passed, each one heavier than the last. The world outside became eerily quiet. Streets that once buzzed with life were now empty. People sat in dark homes, wondering what was happening. Food supplies began to dwindle as stores closed. The silence weighed down heavily, making everyone anxious. Then, suddenly, a flicker of light caught Dr. Chen's attention. The monitors in the control center blinked to life. The signal returned. But this time, it was different. Instead of the friendly tones they had once heard, the message came through as a deep, resonant sound that filled the room with dread. The phrase that played over and over sent shivers down their spines: "We are waiting. Come to us." "What does it mean?" Sarah whispered, her voice shaky. "Are they calling for us?" The team could feel the uncertainty growing within them. Dr. Chen tried to calm her team. We need to understand what they want and why the world went silent. We are scientists. It is our job to find answers. The team decided to analyze the signals further. They began to notice patterns, geometric shapes hidden in the sound waves. As they decoded these patterns, they realized they might represent coordinates a specific location in space. Armed with this new understanding, they plotted a course toward the mysterious source. Meanwhile, the world outside continued to suffer in silence. Governments began to collapse as fear and confusion spread like wildfire. In that moment of darkness, they turned their hopes toward the GSA. The team, feeling the weight of the world's expectations, made a choice. They would activate a spacecraft designed for interstellar travel, the Voyager 2, and embark on a mission to discover the truth behind the signal. As they prepared for the journey, they faced doubts and fears. Are we making the right decision? David asked, glancing out at the silent Earth. What if we disappear into the void? But Maya looked each team member in the eyes, her resolve unwavering. We must know. If there is intelligent life out there, we need to find out why they reached out to us. Finally, the day of launch arrived. The teams assembled around the spacecraft, their hearts racing with a mix of excitement and trepidation. As the engines roared to life, Maya, David, Sarah, and Raj boarded the ship. They looked down at Earth, knowing they were leaving it behind in a time of uncertainty. As the Voyager 2 propelled into the dark embrace of space, they sent one last message back to Earth: we are coming. We will not be silent. The ship soared beyond their home, leaving the silent planet in the distance. The mystery of the signal loomed ahead, ready to unfold in ways they could never imagine. The year is 2347. Dr. Eris Thorne, a seasoned astrophysicist with a shock of white hair and eyes that held the weight of 1,000 galaxies, stared intently at the monitor. A rhythmic pulse, a signal unlike anything ever detected, throbbed across the screen. It originated from a distant sector of space, far beyond the known boundaries of the Milky Way. It's unlike anything we've encountered, Eris muttered, his voice barely a whisper. Beside him, his young protégé, Illyra Vance, a brilliant but slightly impatient astrophysicist, leaned closer. Her dark braids swung as she peered at the complex waveforms dancing on the screen. The energy signature is immense, Dr. Thorne, Illyra said, her voice hushed with awe. And the pattern, it's almost mathematical. The signal baffled the world's leading scientists. It was too complex, too structured, to be natural. Speculation ran wild: extraterrestrial contact, a new form of cosmic energy, even a message from a long-lost human colony. Governments worldwide held emergency meetings. The signal, dubbed the Omega Pulse, became the focus of global attention. Eris and Illyra dedicated themselves to decoding the signal. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. They worked tirelessly, fueled by caffeine and the sheer thrill of discovery. Their team, a collection of brilliant minds from across the globe, pored over the data, each specialist contributing their unique expertise. They hypothesized, they argued, they tested their theories, and they failed. The Omega Pulse remained stubbornly enigmatic. One evening, as Eris reviewed the latest data, a small detail caught his eye. A subtle variation in the pulse's rhythm, previously overlooked. It was so minor it was almost imperceptible, hidden within the massive flow of information. He called Illyra, his voice trembling with a mixture of fear and excitement. Illyra, look at this, he said, pointing to the anomaly on the screen. I think this is a key. Illyra ran her own analysis. She confirmed Eris's findings. The subtle variation was deliberate, it wasn't random noise. It was a sequence, a code embedded within the code. The discovery electrified the team. It was a breakthrough. Days later, the code was cracked. The Omega pulse wasn't just a signal, it was a warning. It described a cosmic event of unimaginable scale, a cataclysmic wave of energy poised to engulf the Milky Way. The message wasn't just a warning, it also contained instructions, a set of coordinates, a location outside the galaxy where a theoretical safe zone might exist. The world reacted with a mixture of terror and hope. The possibility of evacuation seemed impossibly ambitious, a colossal undertaking requiring the united effort of every nation. But with the threat of annihilation looming, cooperation blossomed. Resources were pooled, technology was shared. The greatest minds on Earth combined their knowledge and skills to build a fleet of massive spacecraft, arcs designed to carry humanity to the distant, uncharted coordinates described in the Omega Pulse. The construction of the arcs was a race against time. The Omega Pulse intensified, its rhythm quickening, the approaching cataclysm becoming more imminent with every passing day. As the arcs neared completion, a strange silence began to settle over Earth. Communication lines started failing, one by one. First, it was the long-distance lines. Then, regional networks. Then, local communication systems. Confusion turned into panic. The global network, the very lifeline of the connected world, crumbled to silence. Then, radio silence descended. The world's greatest minds, scientists, engineers, technicians, all fell silent. Even the emergency channels ceased broadcasting. It was as though a switch had been flipped, plunging the planet into an eerie, deafening quiet. The Omega Pulse, having issued its warning, ceased broadcasting altogether. Eris, Illyra, and a few others were aboard Arc 1, already prepared for launch, when the sudden silence hit. They looked up at the vast sky, the stars twinkling indifferent to the turmoil below. The silence was unnerving, it was unnatural. It wasn't just the lack of communication, it was a sense of cessation, of an ending. The world below was still, completely silent. They launched Arc 1 into the inky blackness. As they journeyed towards the coordinates, towards the distant hope of survival, they gazed back at Earth, a silent, blue marble suspended in the infinite expanse of space, a testament to a civilization that vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a faint echo of a message from beyond the stars. They held onto their hope, fragile as it was. The journey was long, fraught with unknowns and the gnawing fear of what fate might await them. They were adrift in space, humanity's last remnants, leaving a silent planet behind them, a question mark forever etched into the tapestry of the cosmos. The mystery of the silent Earth remained unsolved, added to the unknown that lay ahead. In the year 2045, Earth was buzzing with the latest technology. Cities sparkled with neon lights, and flying cars zipped through the sky. People were always connected, sharing their lives across the globe. But one day, a mysterious signal from deep space changed everything. Deep in the heart of the International Space Station, Dr. Maya Chen and her team of scientists were hard at work. They were listening to radio waves from different stars, looking for signs of life beyond Earth. One evening, while scanning the frequencies, Dr. Chen noticed something strange. A series of strange sounds came through the speakers, like a rhythm of beats and noises. "What is that?" Maya asked, leaning closer to her console. The room was filled with her team: Jake, the energetic engineer, Sarah, the brilliant astrophysicist, and Tom, the biologist. They all gathered around as Maya played the signal again. It was like nothing they had heard before. Could it be a random glitch? Jake asked, adjusting his glasses. No, Sarah replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. This is too organized. It could be a message. Maya frowned but felt a thrill of curiosity. We need to analyze it further, she said. They worked through the night, translating the signal. The heartbeat-like pattern was unlike anything they encountered. After days of complex calculations, they discovered that the signal came from a distant star system, many light years away. The entire team felt a mixture of excitement and fear. What if it was really an alien message? What if it was a warning? As they prepared to share their findings with the world, the signal suddenly stopped, like a light flickering out. The room filled with worry. What did it mean? They decided to send a message back, hoping to get a response. As they clicked the send button, a wave of silence washed over them. Back on Earth, people carried on with their busy lives, unaware of the events unfolding in space. However, the tension built as the days passed with no return signal. Then, in an instant, something changed. Earth went completely silent. Phones stopped ringing, and the internet flickered like a dying flame. TV screens turned dark. The hustle and bustle of cities faded into eerie quiet. Dr. Chen and her team were still aboard the space station when they noticed the change. The communication systems were down, and they could no longer reach Earth. Panic crept into the hearts of the scientists. What is happening? Tom shouted. Maya checked the screens frantically, but all they could see was static. We need to figure this out. It must be connected to the signal, she urged. The four friends gathered for a serious discussion. We need to find out if we were intercepted, Sarah said, worry lining her forehead. They decided to delve deeper into the cosmic data they had received, hoping to unravel the truth behind the mysterious silence. As hours turned into days, the environment in the space station grew tense. They decided to analyze the signal again, searching for any clues they may have missed. They found that the pattern formed clusters shapes that resembled mathematical equations. The signal is some kind of code, Maya announced. It's trying to tell us something. The team split into groups to decode the patterns. Maya and Sarah worked on solving the mathematical sequences, while Jake and Tom focused on the technology required to send a response. Each hour felt like a lifetime as they battled the isolation of the silence surrounding them. Suddenly, Sarah had a breakthrough. Look! Some of the patterns seem to connect to Earth's technology, she exclaimed, pointing to the screen. Could this signal be a way to manipulate it? Maya's heart sank. What if the signal was a form of control? What if it somehow turned off all communication devices on Earth? While Tom and Jake chimed in, brainstorming possibilities, Maya recalled the warning signs they had ignored. We have to warn Earth. We need to break the signal hold. With urgency fueling their actions, they worked together to send out a complex series of pulses, formulated from the strange code they had discovered. As they transmitted it into the void, they hoped it would reach Earth in time. Meanwhile, on the planet below, chaos unfolded. Families and communities struggled to reconnect with each other. Panic spread as people realized they were trapped in a void of silence, with no news or guidance. The world was on the brink of breaking down. Days passed aboard the space station while receiving echoes of static from their message. Just as their hope began to wane, a flicker on the screen caught their attention, an incoming signal. It's responding! Jake shouted with excitement. The team dove into action, racing to decode the new incoming message. It was weak but understandable. Maya gasped as she realized it was a warning. Earth is in danger, the signal said. We need your help. Just then, a loud beep filled the station. A visual appeared, an image of the Earth spinning slowly in space, now shrouded in shadows and incomplete. It had become part of the universe's silence. Dr. Chen felt a deep connection to her planet and knew they had to act quickly. Ask what they need, Sarah urged. Maya quickly began forming a response but hesitated. What if we can't go back? She feared. However, she knew they couldn't abandon Earth. They were its only hope. As they finalized their signals, the team realized the connection was dwindling. They sent it out fiercely, pouring every ounce of energy into their last-minute message. The science station trembled as the signal raced back toward the planet. Then, everything went dark. The space station shook, and alarms rang out. "We lost power!" Tom cried. With fear coursing through them, they clung to each other. But then, a flickering light shimmered around them. They had sent the message, now, they waited. Desperation and hope mingled as they prayed for a response, not only for their own survival but for Earth's as well. Then, in a moment of brilliance, the communications system whirred back to life. Maya and her team looked at the screens as new messages began pouring in a wave of voices from Earth. The world was alive again, filled with the sounds of people, messages of encouragement, and stories of resilience. As they listened closely, they realized they were not alone. Earth had fought back against the malicious signal, and they were part of a greater story, now a story that echoed through space and time. Though the signal from deep space had caused silence, it also brought a strength that united people and a realization, they would not succumb to fear but would stand against the unknown together. Maya and her team cheered. The fight was not over, but they had taken the first step. They were no longer just scientists in a station, they were guardians of a planet that would never forget the silence that had once enveloped them. Earth had risen again, and its heartbeat grew stronger than ever. The year is 2242. Dr. Eris Thorne, a seasoned astrophysicist with eyes that mirrored the endless cosmos, stared intently at the swirling nebulae displayed on his massive monitor. His team, a motley crew of brilliant minds, buzzed around him, a symphony of hushed whispers and clicking keyboards. They had been monitoring a strange signal, a rhythmic pulse originating from a distant galaxy, for months. It was unlike anything they had ever encountered. Eris, a man known for his unwavering calm, felt a prickle of excitement. This was it. The culmination of decades of searching, the answer to questions humanity had pondered for millennia. The signal, they determined, was not natural. It was too precise, too structured, exhibiting a complex mathematical pattern that defied random chance. Among his team was Lena Hansen, a young but incredibly gifted mathematician. Her sharp mind quickly deciphered parts of the complex code. It's a message," she breathed, her fingers trembling slightly. "A message, from beyond our galaxy." The message, painstakingly decoded over weeks, was a series of complex equations interspersed with visual representations. Lena, along with Ben Carter, the team's leading linguist, worked tirelessly to unravel its meaning. The visuals depicted stunning celestial bodies, star systems far more advanced than anything in the Milky Way. The equations hinted at a technology far exceeding anything humans possessed. But as they delved deeper into the message, a chilling realization dawned upon them. The signal wasn't just a greeting, it was a warning. A warning about an impending cosmic event, something cataclysmic that threatened the very fabric of existence. The exact nature of the threat remained unclear, but the sheer urgency embedded within the signal was palpable. News of the discovery quickly spread through the highest echelons of power. Global leaders convened in emergency sessions, debating the implications of this extraterrestrial communication. The signal, now dubbed the Omega Signal, became the focal point of worldwide attention. Hope mixed with fear as humanity braced itself for the unknown. Eris, Lena, and Ben, now global celebrities, faced immense pressure. They worked day and night, poring over every detail of the message, desperate for a solution, a way to avert the impending doom. They found references to a celestial body, a massive, hyperdense object hurtling toward the Milky Way galaxy, its trajectory aimed directly at Earth. But there was more to the signal. Hidden within the complex equations was a secondary message, a message that spoke of a civilization's destruction, their sudden, inexplicable silence. This secondary message triggered a chilling hypothesis. What if the Omega Signal wasn't just a warning, but a chilling epitaph? A grim tale of a civilization that had faced the same cosmic threat and had been utterly eradicated? The world held its breath. As days turned into weeks, the mysterious celestial body, initially a mere speck on the astronomical charts, grew larger and brighter. Telescopes around the world tracked its relentless approach. Its sheer size was staggering, far exceeding anything human astronomers had ever encountered. And then, without warning, the Omega signal ceased. The rhythmic pulse, the lifeline to a distant civilization, vanished completely. Silence. An unnerving, absolute silence that filled the void left by the cosmic message. The world plunged into a state of unprecedented fear. The silence was deafening. Every news channel, every radio station, every communication channel went completely dead. No communication, no internet, no signals, nothing. The world had gone silent. Panic spread like wildfire. Cities emptied as people desperately tried to understand what had happened. The sense of dread and impending doom was palpable. Had the celestial body already arrived, causing an instantaneous global blackout? Or was the silence a precursor to something far worse? Eris, Lena, and Ben found themselves isolated in their research facility, the silence amplifying their fear. They desperately tried to communicate with the outside world, but every attempt failed. Their sophisticated equipment lay useless, unable to pick up any signal, any sign of life. They looked out of the window, expecting to see the enormous object descending from the skies. Instead, they found the sky clear, almost eerily so. No signs of the impending doom the Omega signal had predicted. The silence remained, but with a different kind of menace. It wasn't the silence of a cataclysm, but the silence of an annihilation, swift and complete. As the days turned into weeks, they understood. The secondary message, the one about the destroyed civilization, wasn't a warning, it was a reflection of their own fate. The silence wasn't just a global blackout. It was the chilling echo of Earth's complete and utter annihilation. They, the survivors of the world's greatest mystery, were utterly alone. The Omega signal, their last link to understanding, was gone, leaving behind only an infinite and terrifying silence. Their only company was the silence that had enveloped the planet, a stark reminder of the end of everything. The final question remained unanswered: what had happened? The universe kept its silence.